All right, folks, let's get going on committee meetings for tonight, Wednesday, August 2nd. We do have already 2 special meetings tonight. The first one will be County Services Committee meeting, not as advertised, not a public hearing. It's a regular committee meeting. Good. Ready? Special County Services Committee meeting is 6:02. We have one proposed action item. Resolution urging governor to veto A.4282B/S.3505B to move certain local elections to even numbered years. We'll move that. Do we have a second? Lucas. Lucas.
No, Bloomer.
And Lucas and Lavera.
Lucas and Lavera.
Okay. And just a comment on this so that everybody's aware, whether this passes or not, it will not affect our terms in Greene County, only because our terms are already set for 3 years. So as long as that, whatever's in effect in 2025, so, that's an exception to this law. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried. We have anything else for this special county services committee meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. I'll second it. We are adjourned. I'd like to call a special legislature meeting number 3 for the year 2023 to order and ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence. You join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get a roll call, please, Tammy.
All legislators are present with the exception of legislators and
over.
sorry, and
Okay. Where there's only one agenda item, we can move straight into that agenda item.
Resolution number 254-23, resolution urging the governor to veto Assembly Bill 4282B and Senate Bill 3505B to move certain local elections to even number years. Offered by legislator Bloomer, second by legislators Lucas and Rivera.
Second and also. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That's carried. Get that out of the way. That is the only business for tonight's special meeting. And therefore, that roll call. The vote? No. That's the roll call note there was for Tammy to. Given that is the only item of business for that special meeting, I'll declare that meeting adjourned. And once Tammy's set, we'll move into Health Services Committee meeting, which Legislator Davis will chair.
Okay, I'd like to open Health Services Committee at 6:06. We have two resolutions tonight, but before that, I'd like to ask Mark Evans up to give us an update on Greene County EMS.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. This is our annual visit. I have Ron Rouse, our financial secretary, with us, and our chief, Steve here. And our annual visit to give you a very, very quick recap of our activities in 2022 and where we're at in 2023 and a budget request for next year. Last year, we came before you, we ended up doing a one-year contract. And we're back again for renewal, obviously, for 2024. And just an interesting fact, since Greene County EMS was started back in 2000, we've done nearly 40,000 transports. And that's a lot of transports to the hospital. So first thing I'd like to start off with is some really good news. Sorry? Oh, you got flicker? Sorry, didn't know you were saying. Okay, thank you. So we have some great news. REMO, which is the Regional Emergency Medical Organization, they're the regional body that governs ambulances and paramedics. And we were nominated for it and we won 2 awards this year. The Agency of the Year and also the Excellence in EMS Quality and Safety. This is a really, really amazing recognition of our service. I've come before you for many, many years and said, you know, we have a great service. We do a great job. We think for the county, this really recognizes it. This is recognizes us as the best in the region. And with this nomination, we will be eligible for the state EMS award as well, sometime in the fall when that conference is held. Also, I want to note, second down, Shane Merchant from Coxsackie is one of our paramedics, and he was awarded the Paramedic of the Year or ALS Provider of the Year. Shane's younger gentleman, Dave Merchant, he's still at Corey Steakhouse, his son, and he's been a full-time medic with us for a couple of years, and it's a really nice recognition for him as well. So I've stood before you many years and said, you have a great service, you have the best, and this certainly validates it.
How many counties are in this?
Six counties. Yeah, I believe, right, Steve? 6?
It's actually 10.
I'm sorry?
It's actually
10? I stand corrected.
10 counties.
Some of these slides are going to run through quickly. They're more just, you can take a look at them when you have time. This is our current board of directors and operational staff. This is the 2022 call stats. You can look up all the individual towns. You can see the mutual aid that was done in the lower left-hand corner, and then broken down the calls per vehicle and where those trucks are located. You'll see Medic 7 is in Freehold. 7 used to be in Greenville, and last year, at the end of last year, we made a lease agreement deal with the Freehold Fire Company. We moved Medic 7 from Greenville to Freehold. It has actually improved response times. It was a good move. We renovated a room, and they've been very welcoming to us in having the paramedic truck there. This is a very interesting slide. If you recall, when I was here back in 2019, and we were talking about potentially adding another medic truck on the mountaintop. One of the big issues at the time was trying to get response times between the valley and the mountaintop more close, or parity, response time parity between the two. And we seem to have achieved that. Now, remember, this is for Greene County paramedics only. It's not for ambulances. It's not for anybody else. These are our numbers. But as you can see, the response time in the valley and the response time in the mountaintop are just about equal. And the overall response time is 8 minutes and 19 seconds. I will tell you that for a rural county, that is absolutely astounding. There is no other county surrounding us that has a response time like that to get a paramedic to a scene. And that's a credit to our organization, but it's also a credit to you folks for the dedication that you made to making the EMS system in the county as good as it can be without a hospital. Some interesting call stats. Number of calls we dispatched to, that's a lot. That has gone up tremendously over the years. We anticipate in the next year or two, we'll break 4,000. When we started back in 2000, it was down around 800. And obviously we added trucks over the years and we added area over the years. But as you all know, the county is aging, and as it ages, more EMS calls are occurring. Those of you that might have scanners, you listen and you hear that at times the EMS system is strained to the limit. And there's times where there is no ambulance or medic available in the valley or in the mountaintop at times. We've had situations where there's been 24 to 30 calls in a 24-hour period. And for a small county like us, that's a lot of calls. We had 56 cardiac arrests, with 15 reversals, and 4 survived to walk out of the hospital and go home. That's a very, very good percentage. Rapid sequence intubation, that's the procedure where we knock out somebody's ability to breathe and we put a breathing tube in for them. That requires 2 paramedics when we do that procedure. Out of county mutual aid, you can see Catskill and Wyndham maintain their own medics, but we do mutual aid into them, so we added those numbers in this year. And very interestingly, we've noticed an increase in strokes in the last 2 years. Why? We don't know. It has been suspected that it is related to the COVID vaccine. I'm not here to say that that's it, but in the last 2 years, the number of stroke patients we've dealt with has gone up 20%. That's significant. It's significant enough that medicine, especially emergency medicine, has started to study that. We're seeing that studies are coming out now.
But it also could be attributed to the lack of people getting the vaccine.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, your statement's kind of,
Absolutely. We're not making any judgments.
I'm just saying it could be from COVID itself.
Yep.
So I don't think I would say it's from
No,
the vaccine.
that's just one of the things that's been, in the publications we read and stuff, that's, one of the things that they want to look at. And they are looking at it finally. We're happy about that.
I think we're focused on early warning signs too.
Yep. Some of our capabilities, that unit is our standard Light Pack 15. That is our cardiac monitor. It monitors blood pressure, it monitors respiration, it monitors pulse oximetry, and it does a whole other host of things. One of the most important things it can do is diagnose heart attack while somebody is sitting in their living room. And with that diagnosis or working diagnosis, we can then set in motion a series of events that will help speed up the process to get that patient to a cardiologist and potentially onto a cardiac cath table. The sooner the hospital knows that what we have, the better and quicker they can be prepared and be ready for that patient and get them to the care that they need. We have video intubation. We have a whole host of narcotics and medications. Our drug bag is about this big now. I carried it the other day for one of the medics, and I'm glad I don't do it anymore. Just, decompression, intraosseous, rapid sequence intubation, and IV warmers, which were added last year. We use those IV warmers a tremendous amount over the winter time. not just for people that were, stuck on the ski slope that became hypothermic, but somebody that's, fallen and laid on a floor all night long in their home, they're hypothermic. And medications don't work well when patients are hypothermic. So we've been able to use these IV warmers to warm up that fluid. It warms up their internal system, and medications that we give thereafter work much better. We added a number of really amazing modalities or treatments in the last year, one of which is these transport automated ventilators. So through some contacts, we found out that Columbia Memorial Hospital had a bunch of ventilators that they were willing to get rid of. Reason they were willing to get rid of is back when COVID hit, they had gotten a lot of government money to get more ventilators. If you remember, that was the whole thing for quite some time, was ventilators, ventilators, ventilators. Well, these were older models, and they are about $15,000 a piece, well beyond our budget at the time, but they're willing to donate them. The only issue was they had to be software updated, new batteries, and cases. So we got quotes, and we went back to the Rural Health Network, and they were kind enough to give us a $10,000 donation. And we got these updated, and we just put them on the trucks. They're not even fully in service yet. They've only been on the trucks for a few weeks, and they've been used 3 times already. So when we're out in the field and we knock out somebody's ability to breathe, we put a breathing tube in them. If we don't have something like this, we have to sit there and manually breathe for them. Now with one of these units, you hook them up to this, and this does the breathing. So the first time it was used a few weeks ago, they wheeled the patient into the ER, and our medical director, Dr. Stanger, who is an ER doctor in Hudson, and Dr. Weissman, who's the medical director for the ER itself, were there, and they were astonished at seeing what we were doing and what we were bringing through the door. A couple other new devices. The one on the left is called a rescue pod. This is used when somebody is a witnessed cardiac arrest. So it has to be witnessed because it has to be used fairly quickly after somebody goes down. It's been used 4 times so far. What that device does is it keeps more oxygen in the patient. So the last cardiac arrest that it was used on a couple weeks ago, although the person did not make it, but their color was amazing. Their color was like our color right now. But we have had 2 successful ROSC, or return of spontaneous circulation. So it's a device that was researched for years and finally came out and became available, and we picked them up. They are disposable, but they've come in quite handy, and we think they're going to make a big impact in the future. The item on the right is called a T-pod. So what that is it's a device with, you can pull tight, you wrap it around somebody's pelvis. Now, if anybody ever has pelvis fracture, it's extremely painful. And during the winter, we take, many pelvic fractures off the mountaintop. And riding in an ambulance down from the mountain and to Albany or to Hudson is usually incredibly painful. And we're usually dosing them with morphine all the way. In fact, to the point where we usually use up all the morphine on that medic truck. We have used this device on patients, and you wrap it around and you pull it tight, and the compression is what helps take away that pain, to the point that we've taken pain away 100%, and the patient hasn't required any more morphine on the way to the hospital. That's incredible. So these have been used 15 times, and I think all the other agencies around us, after seeing this device and hearing about it, are now starting to get this. That is an accident from Freehold about 3 weeks ago. And the gentleman in this accident was entrapped for about an hour while the Freehold Fire Department worked to get him out. Our medic got there, realized, and this is a good picture compared to some that we have, but this patient was bleeding out. There was a tremendous amount of blood loss from this patient. So the medic, for the first time ever, used this new drug called TXA. It's a blood clotting drug. And he was able to get an IV in the patient and start administering this to slow down the blood loss, keep that blood in the patient. We moved that patient, We took them over to the Freehold Firehouse, which has a landing site. LifeNet came in. The medic on the helicopter, the flight medic, was actually one of also our Greene County medics. He was able to then start blood on this patient right there, and then load him in the helicopter and helicoptered him off to Albany Vet. So you see, we have all the components for a great system, and it's employed every single day. You may not hear about it every single day, but this is the type of stuff that our medics are out there doing, and it makes a real impact.
Helicopter having blood is also new last year.
Yes, within the last year or so, yeah. And I'll say Senator Hinchy was the one that shepherded the bill through. So last year, if you, every state in the country, every medical helicopter could have blood except the ones in New York State. It was bizarre. But Senator Hinchy and others shepherded a bill through that would allow blood on a helicopter, and it was done first time last year. In fact, the same medic that picked this patient up was the one that administered blood for the first time as well. So something that we're watching, we're working on, we've talked with the hospital about is rural paramedicine. This is we think where things are headed to a certain degree. Patients are discharged from the hospital, and as we all know, trying to get care or evaluation of people as they're discharged from the hospital is difficult at times. We also found out from the hospital that one of the biggest challenges they have is getting people medication when they're discharged, because they don't always have the ability to get to a pharmacy to get what they need. So they're going home without the medications that they need, which might prevent an infection after a surgical procedure, or they had an infection in the hospital and they need to continue that medication. So that's a real problem. And then further, just the ability to go and put eyes on somebody and check their surgical site or follow up with them, because, you know, in the rural reaches of the county, you know, they may not have good transportation, they may not have family that can take anybody anyplace. They may not have what they need to be able to get to healthcare. So this is a potential program to bring healthcare to them. We're not ready to come back and talk to you about it yet, but we think that this is something that will pan out. There is a bill in the legislature. We don't think it's been presented to the governor for signature yet, but we believe it will be, that will kind of open the gate for this. We're hoping. This is just a history of our contract with you folks over the years. As you can see on the left-hand side, the total budget from 2014 through until 2020, we were very, very stable. And then in 2021, we had a significant jump. That was when you wanted us to add a medic truck on the mountaintop, and we added Medic 8, which is stationed out in Pressville. And then we had cost increase last year just due to costs going up. Some of those costs that have caused things to go up are here. I'm not going to read through every single one of them, but as I'm sure you folks know, with your departments, everything has gone up. One of the significant problems we're experiencing is medications. Some medications are becoming extremely difficult to get. We can't get them through the hospital. We can't get them through a private supplier. We are down medications, but when that happens, sometimes the medical directors will say, okay, you can substitute that medication with this one. But overall, it's a problem. It's a significant problem. It's a production problem. I won't profess to understand why, but it is definitely a supply chain issue, and it does affect us.
Can I ask you a question, Mark?
Yes.
So the supplies that the hospitals get, it is much less expensive than what we pay? Or is it about the same? It's just a problem of getting it?
I couldn't tell you if, I would imagine what they get is probably cheaper. We always try to get everything we can from the hospital, but sometimes the hospital will tell us we don't have a sufficient supply for patients in the hospital, which then forces us to go out onto the market to find what we need. And that's where it gets extremely pricey.
So we should probably get a hold of like our senators and stuff and say, why is this happening? We should be across the board, same price, right?
I would say so, and I think it's probably on the federal level of, why are we having these shortages of certain drugs across the country? And what's the manufacturing issue? Is it that they're being manufactured overseas, or is there some issue within the country here that's created this problem? So coming to the end here, this is our budget that our board has, draft budget that our board has passed. As you know, we pass a draft budget. The towns like to get their numbers from us by August, September at the latest, because they start working on their budgets. I know you'll start working on yours in the near future. This might be the earliest we've been here to talk to you in a number of years, but that's fine. Earlier, I think it's better. And that's the budget request that we're looking for. Really, this was one big request that we broke up over 2 years. If you remember last year, we had a significant increase, about the same. And that's what we're seeking again. We are now buying 2 trucks a year because of the 5 trucks we have in service 24/7. We have 2 backups. And with the volume of miles that we're putting on them, we've gotten to the point now that we have to start buying 2 trucks a year to keep those in good shape. We try to keep the main trucks to 100,000 miles and the reserve trucks to about 125 or 130,000 before we need to get rid of them. We've had some tremendous challenges with the Chevy Tahoes in the last year. I just can't even begin to explain some of the problems between transmissions and muffler leaks and electrical problems and really bizarre stuff.
So last time I bought a new Chevrolet, you could get an 8-year, 80,000 mile warranty extended. Is that something that you guys are doing? Because if you're not, that's something we should look into, because it's bumper to bumper and it doesn't matter.
Can you do commercial use though? Yeah, it's probably not good on commercial use.
I don't know. Yeah, we can look into it.
Fleet vehicles sometimes are excluded from those tests.
Yes, I think almost.
I mean, it's a good thought, but I don't.
Yeah, thank you. We'll look into it. Absolutely.
Because I mean, the cost of that extension was only like $1,000 or $1,200.
Okay.
But it's bumper to bumper, so.
One positive side to the vehicles, when we go to retire a vehicle, we have put it out to, what's the place, Steve? Auctions International. We put a truck out. Generally, the trucks have been close to 50 grand. We've been putting trucks out to bid, and we got over 20,000 for one of them, and it was in bad shape. I mean, the transmission was bad. It was in rough shape. But there's a market for these retired ones. So we are getting right now, we're getting a good return on those vehicles. So that's our request. And again, I want to thank you. We do this with our medics for the benefit of the residents and the visitors to the county. And the fact that we do it and we've been recognized is a real credit to you folks for continuing to support us. And we're happy to answer any questions or go back and get more information or whatever you would like at any time.
Mark, a couple things. You said the cost drivers. I'm looking at your liability insurance and your workman's comp. These numbers you put up, is that your yearly cost or is that the increase?
That's the yearly.
That's yearly.
That's the yearly. Yeah.
Do you have any idea how much that has gone up in 1 year? Those two?
I know the liability went up by, Ron, how much liability go up?
That's the guy who knows.
It was around 25,000.
Yeah. So in 23 years, we've only had 1 lawsuit filed against us. And that was filed about 1.5 years ago. And without getting into a lot of detail, it was related to an inmate at Greene Correctional that made some news surrounding public figure. And we believe we will get thrown out of it. But our insurance company looked at it and said, well, you have potential liability, therefore we're gonna up your premium. And I actually talked to the insurance company, I said, how about you wait until you figure out what's gonna happen? And they said, no, we've still hired, they've hired an attorney to, represent our interests, et cetera. So I'd have to say, for what we do, the invasive procedures we do, to only have one lawsuit in that amount of time is pretty incredible. And it really isn't even related to a procedure that we do. It's related to some medication, and we don't carry enough of it, so.
You're stopping hearts, you're stopping breathing.
No, we're starting hearts, we're stopping
You're
breathing.
restarting both. Yeah, that's a risky thing.
Any questions I can answer for anybody?
Yeah, there was a Pfizer plant that was a large manufacturer of hospital level drugs was destroyed in a tornado. Are you expecting that to?
I'll have to defer to the chief if we get any drugs from Pfizer.
Yeah, so right now, there's two really big medications that we use on long-term national back order. One of them's albuterol, normally for a box of 25 vials of albuterol. It's roughly like $40.
And that's for asthma. That's for asthma.
That's
Asthma attacks.
That's on long-term back order. It's hit and miss. It's hot mix. Sometimes you're allowed to order a box, sometimes you're not. The replacement's a box of 10, it's $850. The other one that's on national back order is ketamine. And pretty much we've gone to every single supplier, every single hospital. Nobody can get it. And that is on like back reserve. CMH can't get it, can't tell us when they're going to get it. It's just a supplier issue. So there are just meds out there that pops up. Cardizem was a big one last year. It went on back order for 6 months. Saline at one point, we could only buy 10 bags at a time. So it's kind of across the board. It's hard to put your finger on one manufacturer and say it's their problem, but
No generic availability, go another way, get the same, the drug.
I think what happens is, we'll pick on Pfizer. Pfizer releases a certain amount to the suppliers, and then those suppliers control the dispersal of the meds. So we use Boundtree, EMP, McKesson, and the hospital. And usually you can jump from one site to the other. One will have it on lockdown, one will have it on back order, and try and find it. What we're finding now that the hospital can't even get it. I mean, for all of any med to not be able to get ketamine out, these are always like, they're the biggest trauma center in 300 miles around themselves. And they can't. Albuterol is generic and it used to be. It's probably less expensive than a bottle of water. Yeah, now it's triple. And it's a med that you could easily say we use it every day. Thank you.
Something like that, what prohibits you from making up the components yourself, like someone from, like saline, I just heard, what would prevent you from making your own saline? Or your own, the components of this drug?
And we can't make saline. You can, but I can't show up to your house and say,
Right.
hey, this is the back room.
We're not a compound pharmacy, unfortunately.
And it's just ludicrous that this is where we are right now.
It's not just New York, it's not just.
Yeah, it's that Affordable Care Act, right?
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, on to our proposed action items. Number 1 is authorizing a memorandum of understanding between Greene County Family Planning and the Columbia Greene Community College. Bloomer, I'll second that.
Can I just ask-
Any discussion?
Yeah. Matt, go ahead.
I just wondered, what is this about, and is Columbia County doing the same thing? I mean, it seems like we're sending our staff over to the college, but what about Columbia County side? Do you know, Laura? or-
Yeah, so Columbia County regularly does a vaccine clinic at the college. They're there and they have been providing vaccines at the college for years now. And we refer people to their vaccine clinics when we don't have them. So there's a lot of give and take. The Columbia County Health Department doesn't provide family planning services. We've been having a close relationship with the college for several years, many years. And last year, we partnered with Greener Pathways to have clinical services on their van. But what we found is that the students just weren't accessing the care in the van. So we started to talk with their nurse about whether we could have some space in the college. It's something that we've been working on for years. And we finally to a tipping point where it looks like we can do it. Our grantor, who also funds Columbia County, is fine with that. So this is going to be using family planning grant money to just have an extension of a, what we call it, a satellite clinic.
So we're taking a staff member from here and sending them over there.
We have Greene County students there. So this is
I understand that, but Columbia Greene Community College has a nurse.
Yes, but she doesn't, there's no medical services on staff. They have no medical director and no medical services. So that's why
College
this is the conversation. We actually have the president of the college here tonight, so that's.
Seems like a college issue. Not a county issue.
I'm just wondering, I mean, you have, there's no overnight stays at the college. I mean, these people go home to their county, wherever their prospective county they live in, and that service is there within that county. I just, you know, if it adds extra cost to Greene County by putting another person over there, and that, I'm just wondering, I mean, are we duplicating that? Because if someone needs reproductive care as a student in Greene County, they could come to here, where they live in Greene County, and get that care. So that was my question on that.
Do we have the staff for it? Are we short in staff?
I don't know. Staff is short or?
We would shift staff around and for now, and we have a vacant, we have 2 full-time vacancies that we're trying to fill.
What would be the schedule for somebody to be over there?
Well, so we've been having staff there this past year, so this isn't, the staff has already been being deployed there for about 4 hours at a time, so we'll probably try to do it around 10 to 2, so we can pick up the students at lunch.
One day a week or is it every day?
1 day a week.
1 day a week.
Specifically too, to address the rise in sexually transmitted infections, so students are oftentimes not accessing the services unless they're easy to get to. This would be an easy way for those students to access not only contraceptives, but sexually transmitted testing.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, number 2, establishing capital project number 140, community service building. I'll second that. Is there any discussion?
Well, I just some questioning, is this going towards a new building or is this going towards rehabbing what we have?
This would be specific to the new building, would be the evaluation of the land next to the existing building to determine everything from geotech to how much we have to raise a pad to elevate it out of the floodplain. So this is like some pre-engineering work that I would need to do if that site is going to be deemed appropriate.
I saw in today's paper, it seems like that decision has been made that we're building a new building. I thought we were waiting to get some numbers back.
There we are.
from-
Well, I got to start with numbers. This is the first domino to get some numbers.
Right, this is like a cost comparison.
Yeah, I mean, raising the footprint 4 to 6 feet, but that could be a lot of expense that we normally would not, usually you skin the property. And depending upon the value of that elevation, would you just put the building up on stilts? And use it for parking underneath, so this is, no matter what site you go to, you're gonna have to do this pre-engineering.
You went by today's paper, we only have 2 female legislators. So
Neither one of them are here.
I understand that.
so take it for with a grain of salt.
No, I just wanted to clarify. I want to make sure we know where, what this money is being used.
Yeah, this would not have any evaluation of cost for the existing building. It would just be the new building on site.
But we may come back again for more costs of evaluating services within the building that exists. That we're gonna be at.
So at this
Right,
point,
right.
so at this point,
Costs.
we're considering a number of options.
Correct.
Right, so that's it. We're considering a number of options. Nothing has been decided.
And
Period.
I know, Sean, I talked with you a couple weeks ago. I know Craig, we're gonna have to make some general repairs to the existing building. Keep it workable and
Safe.
safe.
That's gonna occur no matter what decision.
Right.
Because you have to remember, you're 3 years, 4 years away. If the decision is to build new, you're 4 years away before you turn the first key. So I'm still gonna have to put fingers in the dike on the existing building.
Okay, we have a mover and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? That's passed. Is there anything else to come before the Health Services Committee tonight?
We do have the president of the college, Carly Drummers here. If anybody has any questions, you can send an email out for the budget things for this year.
What's on the next agenda?
Motion
to adjourn.
You're Hobart, was that?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. I'd like to call County Resources to order at 6:42. We only have one resolution before us this evening, and that's in regards to the college and adopting its budget for the 2023-2024 year. And tonight we have the president of the college, Dr. Drummer. And if she'd like to get up there and speak about some of the things going on.
Sure, thank you. Second, all by myself. I am wearing two hats tonight. So be kind. I'm not a CFO. But before we get started on the budget, I just wanted to give you such a round of applause for another contribution to the Green Light 2 Enrollment Fund that has made such an incredible difference for our students. We got the check, I think it was about a week ago. And I just wanted to give you where we are. So far, since that check came in, we have awarded $28,200 in scholarships. And that is to 30 students who are going to be attending in the fall. And during the spring of 2023, again, because of incredible generosity, we supported 52 students. And in 2023 totally, we had the grant of $50,000, and anyhow, we have no balance there at all. So it's since the program started in fall of 2020, remember we were in the height of the pandemic, we have, you have helped 194 students, both in the credit and non-credit side of it. So we're just so grateful for that. And so are our students who live in this county. So thank you very much.
I think it's helped with enrollment.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. So you have a copy of the budget that I believe you received, and I thought I would just go through and maybe we could just talk about some of the highlights, and then if you have specific questions, I will do my best to answer them. If we start on page 1, there's a summary here of the support. There's the pie chart. So student support, 26.82%. That covers tuition and fees for both credit and non-credit students. Our state support is at 1406. Miscellaneous support is at 2707. That includes charges to other counties and the appropriated fund balance. The sponsor support that we have is 32.05%. So as you can see, the counties are playing the bigger role in keeping us afloat. And so again, we're very grateful for that.
Is there any reason that the state gave you, Dr. Drummond, why they dropped almost 1% of funding to the facility or the community colleges?
Well, it's an interesting question because they approved the funding floor. And so we thought we were going to get more. But what happens is that we get an incremental money because we're a small college with fewer than 2,000 FTEs. And last year, we were sharing it with 6 community colleges, and this year we're sharing it with 12 because enrollments have declined, so those other 6 joined our ranks as the small group, and so that accounts for part of the decline. We're still, we are basically receiving the funding that we got this year from the state is what we got in 2008.
So it's a nice job sugarcoating it, but it's really coming down to what gets passed in the legislature.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
What their priorities were.
I mean, and just for argument's sake, are the 4-year schools, whether it's Plattsburgh, is their enrollment up for the funding shortage that's coming here? It's going to the larger universities within the SUNY system?
I can't answer about their enrollments, but the universities do get treated better. I will tell you that.
You answered my question.
Yes.
Carly, on
Yes.
something like this, you see this pie chart, and I don't know why more people, and I guess the question is for you and other college presidents for our community colleges across the state is, why do we listen to the state so much when they provide less than 15%? I mean, we're bowing down to the state and they do little and are doing even less.
I know, we are,
Madness.
the community colleges this year hired a lobbyist, and it helped a little bit. We are going to continue to make the case, with our elected officials about the importance of the community colleges. We are the economic engines that keep the state of New York afloat. And I will give you a little anecdote. I worked at a community college in Chicago for 13 years. We got 4% from the state. So I used to tell people that we were just state located, not state supported. So it's a constant, issue for us. It's a challenge. It really is, because we're trying to keep tuition as low as we can. And the only way that we can make it up is with tuition.
So as your lobbyist, hopefully they're not state appointed or?
No, it's, private. And like I said, I think, we made some progress this year. I felt good. I think it'll just continue to get better.
Do you maybe pass it on to the students on how this rolls out and have them contact their representatives as well? I mean, you have government classes over there. I mean, in my opinion, every one of them should receive a voter registration form and have these people that represent their districts come in.
We
and explain
actually
it
do.
to
We
them.
just passed out voter registration forms last year. That's a really, really good point. So just moving on to the allocation by county, this is one of the interesting changes this year. The county support is basic, the support is flat, but here's a little bit of a change. The legislators and the supervisors voted to have a new formula for computing what the costs would be. And so now we're looking at a percentage of the student head count using a 3-year average. So what you're seeing on the allocated share covers fall 2020, fall 2021, and fall 2022. So this year, the formula resulted in a decrease of $120,288 for Columbia and an increase of the same amount for Greene County. Last year, there was a reverse. Columbia County had an increase of $206,332 and Greene decreased $206,322. So what we're hoping is that this new formula will level things out so we don't have these kind of extremes. And I think we're not seeing it quite yet this year, but I think as we move forward over time, I think it'll make a difference.
Sure, you'll have a finger on the pulse. It won't spike every year.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what, so we'll watch it. And as I said to Sean, if it doesn't work, we'll go back to the way it was before, based on just FTE. But we're going to give this a try, and I feel really positive about it.
What's the difference in students between Columbia and Greene County?
Greene County has fewer students than Columbia.
4852%.
Yeah, about.
Right. And it doesn't swing much. Well, we're up now. We're up 2%.
Yeah.
Maybe to answer the question earlier about is our tuition assistance increase in our own student population from choosing Greene versus any other option, and $50,000 a semester seems to be moving that needle. Now, be careful what you wish for, because that also increases your sponsor fee as well. But It keeps our kids at home too.
Out of curiosity, Sean, what did you budget last year for the college that gave us the extra money?
Well, we had a $200,000 savings. Tuition year to tuition year, so we used 100 of that
Right,
for the green light and 100 was reduced.
right. But are you going to try to then budget this set amount now every year?
Yeah.
So then we wouldn't have extra money potentially for the Greene County Cares Fund.
Yes, we would need to dip someplace else for the
Alright.
continuation of the.
Okay, one other highlight is that we do have a modest tuition increase this fall of 2.8%. We are going up $144 a year, which is $72 per semester. That brings our total for the year up to $5,256, which is still an incredible bargain, given what people going to the four-year institutions pay. And many of our students have some kind of support, either through a scholarship or Pell Grant, et cetera. So the average among the 30 community colleges is $5,291. So we're just a little bit below the average. And interestingly, the ranges in tuition increases were from 1% up to 10%. So it's, again, the community college sector, in some parts, they're having severe enrollment difficulties. I am pleased to say that our enrollment is up. We had a 30% increase in summer enrollment, which is phenomenal. We are expecting, an increase in the fall. We don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but we're budgeting about 5% increase, 5% up. So I think one thing that's really one of the silver linings of the pandemic is the fact that we were forced into offering virtual modality classes. And when the pandemic hit, we only had 2 classes that were offered virtually. And now 50% of our classes are offered virtually. I personally don't like it because I like to see people on campus, and I think there's a different experience being in a classroom. But I tell you, with parents who have incredible family responsibilities, they've got jobs, they like to go to class at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can tune in, see what's going on, and it's really worked well for us. And the faculty have adapted and seem to really enjoy it. So anyway, so I'm not quite sure what else I can tell you. It's pretty straightforward, the way it is every year. As I said, I'm happy to answer questions if you have any. I will tell you that we just got a $910,000 grant from SUNY for workforce development. And what we are doing with it is we're going to be starting an LPN program, which now President Urschel at the hospital and I have been talking about since 2019 when she was COO. She kept telling me we need LPNs. And so anyway, we are finally ready to start launching this program. And so there's great excitement, at the hospital in particular about that. We're
How
also,
long of a program?
what was that?
How long would the program be?
It would be, it's a year program.
It's a 1 year.
It's a 1 year program. It's really a pipeline program right into nursing. So we're excited about that. We also have an ask out. It's called the Future of Work Grant. It's a state funded grant. We've asked for $750,000, and that will also support us in developing other healthcare programs as well, including CNAs who work, frequently in nursing homes. So more to follow on that. We don't have the money in the pocket yet, but I think we have a pretty good chance of getting that because of the great need in this area for healthcare, as we heard from the previous speaker. Anyway, can I answer any questions?
I have one. Usually like the scholarship, when the student is from Greene County and do they still have to submit an essay on how it's impacted them or any significant, or do they just apply and?
We've streamlined the form for scholarship applications because writing an essay, believe it or not, is a deterrent. So as an English major, I find that.
You don't wanna write.
It's.
Is it written in cursive? I never mind.
Yeah, well, yeah, forget cursive. But there is an option.
Don't go there.
Okay,
Don't go
would you
there.
like to tell us about, an experience that you.
You lost us. You just lost us.
Does that answer your?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Carly, what did you, in your budget, I know you've had a couple bargaining agreements approved. What would you say was the impact to your budget? How much did your budget go up because of those two agreements?
I can tell you, obviously it affects salary.
Right.
That's where they were. By the way, the bargaining agreements, I think, turned out very, very well. There were gains on both sides. So, we feel really positive about it. We reduced, on the faculty side, we reduced what we call, if you can have extended course load. And heretofore, our faculty members were allowed to take, like they could teach 30 credit hours, which was absolutely ridiculous. So we have capped that at 24. Got a lot of pushback about that, but we were able to do that. So that really saved us some money as well. But I can tell you, if you look on, let's see, under the contracts. The salaries on page, actually on, there's a summary on, page 6, but actually on page 5, general expense summary, salaries went from 9.3 million last year to 9.7 million this year. So you're talking about a, $400,000 difference.
What about the contractual expenses? What would that involve that it went up by $300,000?
That is supplies, professional fees. That is part of our IT infrastructure overhaul as well with Campus Works. You probably remember our discussion about that last year.
Yep. Thank you, Carmen.
Anybody else?
Yeah, it's Louisiana.
What?
It's Louisiana.
I appreciate that. Anyway, we're excited about the upcoming year. I think the atmosphere is, we've come a long way since COVID. That was quite devastating for everyone. So we're getting that sense of camaraderie back again. We're using CoArc for our food service, which has worked out really nicely for us. We are just ready to start our phase 4 of the construction money that was awarded to us in 2018 before I arrived at Columbia Greene. You remember there was a $20 million funding that we received. We built the new Building Construction Technology Center with that. If anybody is driving over to the campus, you will see a wonderful tiny house at the west entrance to the campus. And our construction technology students built that. And we are going to be auctioning it off. And right now we have an opening bid of $33,000. So the idea is that we can, we'll cover the cost of the building construction technology program, at least with, the supplies. And next year, the plan is for the students to build 2 tiny houses. So anyway, if you wanted to check it out.
How much is available for you on this phase 4 from the 20 million?
Just hang on to your hat here, $4 million, which is nothing. We need new science labs. I said to Diane Topo, I said that the $4 million is going to go right into the lab. I mean, those are expensive.
The science labs pertain mostly to your nursing classes?
Nursing and, phlebotomy, health services, medical assisting. Yeah,
Okay.
Our science labs, quite honestly, they don't match what's in the high schools, which is an embarrassment. So this is long overdue, and I'm really excited about it. We just interviewed architectural firms the past week, and we've selected a firm, and so now we'll be putting the project together, and we'll see how it goes. And so we also got a $1 million gift from Assemblywoman Barrett. And that's to be used to expand our building construction technology program. We'll be adding on to the building, and then that way we can actually have a second cohort of students instead of just one, which is great.
So you got $1 million gift from her personally?
No, it was a state. It was a state. This from the.
Just checking.
I'm sorry.
Just checking. You know the pockets.
Left pocket.
You know the pockets.
No, from the assembly.
How'd you make out with the whole website revamp and is that all? up
Have
to
you
speed?
checked it out?
I have not.
Oh, you've got to get on. You will be surprised. It's awesome. It really is. We have a campaign called Our Alumni Are Everywhere. And we're featuring very, very fun people, including Rebecca Pender, whom you all know. She's one of the photos that's up now is picture of her on the Hudson River doing her thing with environmental science. So it's terrific. It's actually, we're finally in the 21st century.
That's what I was just gonna say, it finally came up to where
Finally came
students
up.
can actually talk the same language.
That's right. We're finally able to register students online. Imagine that.
Hey, Mike, that $1 million was our
Priority.
My, it's this summer over there, and he enjoyed it. He told his buddies, it's like, instead of going to Hudson Valley, it's like he was there.
Yay.
So, okay,
I like him.
you'll have him for another semester.
We're delighted to hear that.
Yeah.
I do not like losing students to Hudson Valley. Sometimes they go up there because they have different programs than we do, but it just irks me when I hear that. So, anyway, thank you all. Great to see you.
Reaccreditation with no callbacks, that's,
What was that?
you just got reaccreditation.
Oh,
with no
yes, I know. I
callbacks.
should have mentioned that. Oh, my gosh, we're so proud. Yeah, we had 13 commendations from Middle States. We had 3 recommendations and 0 requirements, which is unheard of. I've been in higher ed for more than 40 years, and I've never worked in a college that didn't have a follow-up report, after the accreditation visit. So we are
Nice.
riding high on that, believe me. Yeah, so anyway. All right, thanks for bringing that up, Ed. I appreciate it. All right, have a good night, everybody.
Thank
Enjoy
you,
the rest of the
Charlie.
summer.
Thank you.
There's 35 days left, I understand.
I just counted it was 33.
Right pocket, left pocket.
Add that to the minutes, will you?
Good thing I like you, Matt. Okay, everybody, we do have this one resolution, adopting our 2023-2024 operating budget for the college. I need a motion.
Overall.
Overbaugh and Rivera. Any further discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. You're abstaining, Charlie? No? Okay. Any other business coming from County Resources? I know our youth fair just finished up.
Yeah.
I know some people have made it out there throughout the 3 days of it.
Yes.
So,
Had a really nice time.
yeah.
Every day was great. We had a little rain Saturday afternoon, but otherwise it was a wonderful fair.
Sunday was very busy.
Sunday was great.
Perfect weather.
Friday was very hot, but the numbers were up.
Yeah.
Thursday, the numbers were up for the opening day.
Sunday was the day that you want to be at.
Sunday was the day.
I think I knew the guy that won the pig raffle too.
Yes, we saw Ed Bloomer one.
Oink, baby, oink.
There you go.
What time are we coming over Sunday?
I'll bring the sauce.
Thank you, bring the charcoal.
All right, everybody.
And I think
Motion?
I think we should think about, contributing a little bit more.
We are. We discussed that,
Yeah.
the 3 of us.
Yeah, the committee should come to us during the budget cycle,
Right.
and we have
Yeah.
plenty of time left, but
This past year, what was it, 24,000?
24 and change, yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't stayed down for a number of years.
Really, seriously.
And then I think we should talk about, I think they still need some more storage out there. Maybe putting up another barn for them. So
Can you build off that, put an addition up?
To the left of that one, it's on the,
Right.
where the
On the
restrooms
hill.
I
are,
don't know the topography, but.
yeah,
Yeah, well, you got the 4-H building, right?
yeah, we would
Then
need
you
to
got
go to
the-
the town,
Right.
for them to dedicate the property.
You'd have to go up on that shelf to the left.
I think you'll see something from them soon.
Yeah, it just seemed like I was talking to them, they were saying they could use storage on site.
We cart so much around now, right, have everything stored.
Right.
Right,
All you need is cold storage. Wouldn't need to be fancy.
right.
And Craig did a great job.
Yeah, Craig,
He lived there. He pulled his camper right in. He slept there for 4 nights.
Craig was nonstop.
nonstop for like 5 days,
6.
5, 6 days.
Moving on Monday.
It's good to hear. All right. I need a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Overblown and Lennon, we are closed.
And I'll keep still during this. Our money's the best.
That'll be a first. Thank you.
There's no way.
I'll keep still.
It should be the last one. We should bring it up to 3.
Good, Tim. All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to open up the Public Safety Committee at 7:06 PM. With us tonight, we have John Farrell, the Director of 911 Center. John?
Evening, everyone. Tonight, there's no proposals for any action. The numbers for July, EMS calls were 682, fire calls 232, police 1342, the other unknown 1104, for a total of 3,360. For the inbound phone calls within the 911 center plus the 911 calls was 5,684. July's mutual aid, 45 mutual aids for EMS and 4 for fire. Hazmat and the fire investigation team this past month had no calls. Updated items. First, fire training for the fire training schedule has been completed and sent out to all the fire companies for signups. Currently working on 9/11 ceremony program. Last night I received a call from Robert Trader notifying me that the 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing Band from Cherry Point, North Carolina will be participating.
Nice.
I believe there's 50 of them that are coming. So we'll be spending the proper time, location where we'll be placing them and so forth. The guest speaker for that day will be a very close friend of mine, who's a great speaker, and that's John D'Alessandro, recording secretary for Firemen's Association of the State of New York. John is a senior communication and public affairs professional, and I've been trying to get him for the last couple of years, so he's able to come this year.
John, is that the 9/11 ceremony?
Yes.
Good.
Yep. And while I was on vacation last week, I know the HR department, along with Dan King and my dispatchers, they were set up at the fair. I'm very happy to say that as of yesterday, I have 15 applications to fill the 2 open positions that we've had. We have interviews starting tomorrow through next Tuesday. So I'm sure that we'll be able to move forward to hire and fill those positions and start them in the middle of September, where they'll be going out to Montour Falls and start training. So it's a very positive result.
John was reported the health program, right?
Yes.
You did not need the service.
Providing we get through the period and they're very successful. So, also, just a reminder, I'm sure you probably already got invited. Next month, the Greene County Volunteer Firemen's Association will be having their annual convention, probably starting September 5th through the 9th, but probably the most important is their annual meeting that Thursday night, where they will honor one of their own within the organization, firefighter of the year and so forth. There's a committee that's currently working on it, but that's probably the most important. And of course, the parade on Saturday with the Marines, that's always a great time. And that's one thing I know Bobby Schrader has been working on for the last 4. I think they've been here for at least 3. And this will be the 4th year, so it's great. The delivery of the vehicle fire training prompt that you approved will be delivered to the training center late September, early October. And I just also want to say, training center, I can't say enough about buildings and grounds. Craig and his team have been doing a great job making sure that everything's taken care of on a daily basis. So when the fire departments go down there, it really looks nice, I have to say, trimmed on and taking care of whatever is out of place. And lastly, I wasn't here last week, but I have to say, as you all know, the flood event that took place on Route 23. I spent, since I came back to work yesterday, I went through the CAD reports, went through the radio transmissions, made phone calls into Ulster County today, some of the mutual aid companies and the companies in the county, the 15 agencies that responded to 2 different incidents. I invested a couple of hours today with the dispatchers that were working today were the people that were on last Tuesday. I just cannot say when you have 2 different counties working together at 2 different locations, taking care of those 16, 17 people. Now, nobody got hurt. Everything worked out quite well. Tomorrow night, I have a meeting with the fire chief from Haines Falls to, since it's in his jurisdiction, I would like to be able to bring the chiefs of each of those organizations in just to take a couple hours to get Dan King that involved as well, just to sit down and talk about the strengths and the weaknesses that we shared that day. And hopefully, as we know, but this ain't the first time that we've got the city of Kingston and et cetera. So very appreciative of the hard work that every one of them, and especially the 2 dispatch centers. In the beginning, there was a little lack of communication, but Ulster County was talking to the 911 center down in Ulster. They were typing what was being requested, and our dispatchers were watching because we share our screens with each other, and everybody was able to communicate. So I just wanted to say thank you. And Sheriff, after I read the CAD, I don't know how many, you must have had the entire force, your fleet there, because I just can't say enough. Thank you. I certainly will say it again as I move around to the fire service and all the agencies involved. But I just wanted to bring that up. Other than that, there's not in.
I just got to add a couple of things, John.
Sure.
Go back to what you were saying about the Marine Corps band from Cherry Point coming in again. I think the 3rd year in a row, I think. But I mean, it's important that they come to Greene County to honor our firemen and what they do, the volunteers and our convention, but also the 9/11 ceremony, a solemn ceremony. And I would like to really publicize, if we can, that they're going to be in Caro on 9/11. That's a Monday at 11 o'clock to take part in our ceremony. And I also like for the, if possible, for us to notify all the veterans organizations, the Legions, the VFWs in the county, and let them know also, because I think once people realize that we're going to have this ceremony like we do every year, and the Marine Corps band is going to be there, I think they really want to come out and take part in it, but they need to know that we're having it. So if there's anything we could do to get it out there, huh?
You take a note?
Warren, yeah, the paper's here, they could do an article, I'm
Do we
sure.
have a time on that yet?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, every year it's 11 o'clock. If we could really get it out, the word out there, and really show our patriotism and honor, the victims of 9/11.
And just so you're aware too, the Marines, they have a full-scale schedule. I believe they come in on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, right through to Monday. Sunday, they're in Greenville, I believe.
Sunday they're in the Legion in Greenville, I understand.
Yeah, but they have a full schedule that they're committed to, certainly. And right now, I just reached out to Mike Ferretti this afternoon, or try to work things out with the band.
Right.
so there's no conflicts with the program, so. But we'll get everything put together. It should be a great day.
Thanks, John.
Other than that, Mr. EMS Coordinator, do you have anything, sir?
Status quo, it's been a busy couple of weeks, been doing a lot of movement, coordinated with the 911 center. They've been doing an amazing job getting everything covered around.
And I know while I was gone, Jim, he had sent some stuff down to HR on that program, praising our 911 dispatchers. They've been doing some outstanding performance inside that room, and I can't say enough. So, other than that, life is good. And thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Ready, Sheriff?
Good evening, everybody. So last month, we had 219 civil attempts. We served 139 civil papers, issued 116 traffic tickets, investigated 24 traffic accidents, made 36 arrests and 3 DWI arrests. We handled 598 calls for service and made 184 traffic stops. On July 1st, the starting jail population was 38. As of July 31st, it was 35, the high for the month being 38. Corrections officers did 28 transports, traveling 2,404 miles, totaling 83 and a half hours, moving 28 inmates. We have 1 state-ready inmate in our custody. On your proposals for action tonight, we have all of our SRO agreements with all the school districts in Greene County. Our radar trailer has been in high demand this summer, and it's being used this week on County Route 23B in Jefferson Heights. It was there last week as well, and that's to assist the county highway and your legislature with the possibility of putting.
Right, I think
Gross.
the more data we have for that study, I think Scott would appreciate it.
Yeah, as a point of interest, I think the first 7 days, there were 39,000, over 39,000 cars.
Yeah. It's a lot of driving.
Matt was driving around in circles. I think.
I went fast a few times.
Some of those tickets are working.
I don't know, we'll find out.
All right, we also sent 19 Greene County children to summer camp last month, and we received all outstanding reviews there. And at the youth fair, we handed out a pile of applications, but I don't know how many we're going to get back, hopefully. We also did over 100 child safe identification cards at the youth fair. To piggyback on what John said about the incident in Catskill Cove on July 25th, our water rescue team responded to it. That flash flood brought the water levels up rapidly and stranded 16 people in the Cove. There were 5 on the other side of Fawn's Lake, 2 underneath the ledge, and another 9 down below it, what's called the Rat's Hole. So we worked together with the Forest Rangers, Ulster County Sheriff's Water Rescue Team, and the Twin Cloves Rope Rescue Team, which includes all of those agencies. It's Haynes Falls, Tannersville, Cedar Grove, Kingston, it's the whole world. So they were all there. But we were able to extricate all those victims without injury. And it was just a great example of the teamwork that we have with all those agencies. And we do train together. So we share equipment, we have the same equipment. And it just worked out really well. Nobody got hurt there. Lastly, I have, there is one resolution on your agenda, and that's for out-of-state travel for Investigator Joel Rao and Sergeant Andrew Messina, who I have assigned to the United States Marshals Regional and Fugitive Task Force. So all of that training and lodging is paid for by the U.S. Marshal's Office. And participating in that task force gives our deputies the opportunity to attend trainings like this that are not normally available to local police agencies. Their participation in the task force also brings with it prompt assistance and support from the U.S. Marshal's Office. So I have.
So I wear 2 hats, one with the Marshal's Office and one with you guys.
Yeah, they're called TFOs. Task Force Officers. Question?
I do. and I talked to Sean, have we heard anything from DEC or for this range that they want to put in up there?
We're still working on it. The first domino has to be DEC regarding the limitations that was placed on the excess property for the jail. They're a very bureaucratic organization, so I'm still stumbling through that. And after we get that, then we go to docs. Because again, there's limitations of the use of the excess property. Although I think this application just like would fit within the limitations.
Within the scope of the duties and what we have to do.
I'm sorry?
Within the scope of the duties and what we're trying.
Correct. It has to be law enforcement specific.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Stairs.
Okay, now, back into the proposed action items. First proposal, authorizing agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Carroll Durham Central School District.
Lennon.
Rivera. Rivera. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carries. Number 2, authorizing agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Catskill Central School District. Rivera. Rivera.
Lennon.
Lennon. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carry. Number 3, authorizing agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Coxsackie Athens Central School District.
Bloomer.
Bloomer, Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carry. Authorizing agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Greenville Central School District.
Davis.
Hobart. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carry. Number 5, authorizing Greene County Sheriff's Office with Hunter Tannersville Central School District.
Lennon. Thornton, Lennon.
Torrington, Lennon, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carry. Where are we at? 6, authorizing agreement, Greene County Sheriff's Office with Marilyn A. Noonan School at Durham.
Davis.
Davis. Bloomer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carry. And number 8, authorizing the out-of-state travel for Greene County Sheriff's Office.
Forgot the WHA.
7.
Number 7.
7, okay, we gotta do Wyndham Ashland, sorry. 7, authorizing the agreement for Greene County Sheriff's Office with Wyndham Ashland Jewett Central School District. Torrington, Rivera, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And number 8, authorizing out-of-state travel for Greene County Sheriff's Office.
Lennon.
Second.
Thornton.
Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Is there anything else to come before public safety? Motion to adjourn. Barron, I'll second it. We're adjourned. 32 days.